Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Undergraduate Pilot Training Graduation Ceremony for Class 2513. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Michael Fantuzzi, Commander, 8th Flying Training Squadron, training students in the T-6 Texan.
I'm Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Kinnear, Deputy Commander, 71st Operations Group.
Today's ceremony is a once-in-a-lifetime event. We encourage you to come forward and take pictures or videos when your loved one is presented with an award or their wings. For your planning purposes, the wings are presented by rank and then alphabetical order.
Please stand for the entrance of the official party and remain standing for the National Anthem of the United States, followed by the invocation given by Chaplain Christopher Gilmore.
I would invite you to pray in your tradition as I pray in mine, or you may simply observe a moment of silence. Let's pray. Dear Lord, I'm personally very grateful for the immense privilege it is to come before you now. I'm here before you today, along with so many here, to celebrate the hard work and dedication of these graduates. Thank you, God, that they are joined not only by their fellow pilots, but family members and friends. Thank you that by your great and mighty hand, you have been guiding them every step of the way in their journey. Today, in these moments as we are reflecting on and celebrating this milestone, I ask that you give them clear minds and settled hearts. Clear minds to recall all the loved ones, fellow students, instructors, and commanders who helped them get here. Clear minds to see tomorrow and every day after with joy in their accomplishments. And settled hearts to be able to feel what they know, that the kind of camaraderie and growth found in the United States Air Force culture is second to none. I do ask that in your amazing and divine power that you would lift these pilots up to make them some of the greatest leaders in the Air Force that we have ever seen. Use them mightily in their upcoming classes and in their careers so that we are even better equipped to engage the threats we face as a nation. Help them to be the kind of officers that lead by example in their professional and in their personal lives. In their personal lives, God, I would ask that you would help them to strive for the ability to be the kind of person who's contributing to a healthy home and not making that a secondary practice. Help them to be truly present when they are with their loved ones, as the mission will always be on their minds. Help them to aim towards finding healthy balance of being an excellent officer and a father or a mother, a husband or a wife, a brother or a sister. Thank you, God, for the great privilege of being able to come here and celebrate with them. Thank you, God, for who you have made them to be. I pray these things in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Gilmore. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Today, 23 officers will receive their wings. On behalf of Colonel Joshua Lundaby, Commander, 71st Flying Training Wing, I would like to welcome the family and friends of Class 2513, as well as several members of Team Vance, including squadron commanders, chiefs, first sergeants, spouses, and our ASRC and Amentum contractors.
We are honored to have the following guests from our civil and wing leadership here to support the graduates. The Command Chief, 71st Flying Training Wing, Chief Master Sergeant Harvey McReynolds Jr., and his spouse, Master Sergeant Christine McReynolds. The Deputy Commander, 71st Flying Training Wing, Colonel Carl Miller III. The Commander, 71st Operations Group, Colonel Eric Bissonette. The Commander, 71st Mission Support Group, Colonel Benjamin Jans, and his spouse, Nancy. The Senior Enlisted Leader, 71st Mission Support Group, Chief Master Sergeant Adam Barraclough. The Commander, 71st Medical Group, Colonel John Dalumba. The Senior Enlisted Leader, 71st Medical Group, Chief Master Sergeant Alan Pickren. We are also honored to have the following distinguished visitors as special guests of Class 2513. Please stand or wave your hand to be recognized. On behalf of Second Lieutenant Addison Lutz, Brigadier General D. Micah Fessler, Assistant Adjutant General of Colorado for Air, and the Commander, Colorado Air National Guard, Buckley Space Force Base, Colorado. On behalf of Second Lieutenant Kurt Herbert, Colonel Bryce Dibble, Deputy Commander, 92nd Air Refueling Wing. On behalf of Second Lieutenant Johnny Hedrick, Colonel Charles Seitz, United States Army, retired. On behalf of Second Lieutenant Addison Lutz, Colonel Paul Mackey, United States Air Force, retired.
We would also like to give a warm welcome to our guest speaker, the Division Chief, Reconnaissance Operations and Deputy Director, RPA and Airborne ISR Capabilities, Headquarters Air Force, Colonel Douglas Pruitt. And the commanders, and the Commander, 71st Flying Training Wing, Colonel Joshua Lundaby, and his spouse, Steph. Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel Lundaby.
All right, good morning. Are we excited? Man, what a cool day. It's great to see all the family and friends out here today as well. Thanks for being here. Welcome to graduation day here at Vance Air Force Base, Enid, America. It's awesome. Today is an incredible day in the lives of these new aviators as we recognize Undergraduate Pilot Training Class 2513. To our DVs, General Fessler, great to have you here. Colonel Seitz and Colonel Mackey, thank you very much for being here. Colonel Dibble, we're on the same fantasy football league together, and I met you once before. It's kind of a conglomeration of MAF aviators, so it's great to see you in the crowd. Look forward to chatting with you more as the day goes on here today. But thank you all for being here today. To my brothers and sisters and all of Team Vance, welcome to today's ceremony. As you know, this day would not be possible without the efforts of you and your airmen. I'd also like to welcome our fellow service members and all the veterans who have taken time to be with us today. You and those that serve before you have set the example for all of us, and you certainly deserve recognition. Thank you. Big round of applause, please. All right, to the family, friends, mentors of Class 2513, welcome to today's ceremony. You've provided our graduates the principles, the moral compass, and most importantly, the work ethic to make it through this very demanding program. Thank you for everything you've done to get them to this point and being here to share this great day with all of us. To provide a little background and context, Vance is one of 4 bases that provide the U.S. Air Force with primary mission to conduct undergraduate pilot training. In my opinion, we are the best of those 4, for the record. Our mission here at Vance is to deliver highly qualified aviators for follow-on training in a variety of aircraft in our Air Force and those of our partner nations. To date, Vance Air Force Base has provided nearly 38,000 world-class pilots dating back to 1941, including 2 Medal of Honor recipients, a World War II P-51 ace, 7 astronauts, over 200 general officers, including the 15th Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Rick Myers, and 3 notable first assignment instructor pilots, General Fogelman, who rose to be the Air Force Chief of Staff, Colonel Eileen Collins, who became a space shuttle commander, and one of our special guests with us here today, Colonel Mackey, who, from what I heard, was in class 80-06 and was a T-38 FAPE. Thank you for coming back, sir. Appreciate it. All right, class 2513, make no mistake, you are graduating on sacred ground. Air Force heroes have walked these halls and learned how to be a pilot with that VN on the tail flash. I know you're going to follow in the footsteps, in all of their footsteps, and make us fans proud. Super proud of you guys today. Class 2513, in the seats next to you are fellow airmen and friends with whom you have a special bond. You've worked hard, and hopefully you've had some fun along the ways. Maybe a couple trips to Scooters, Oak City. Maybe I'm getting some head nods. That's great. But in the end, you're all here. You made it here to graduation to become pilots in the United States Air Force. You've experienced the wonder of flight. You know what it means to master something extremely difficult. Most importantly, you understand the support system it takes to get you in the air, and that goes well beyond each one of you. It requires an entire team to get you there, and a lot of those teammates are in these seats here. We're really close to that moment that you've all been waiting for, and some of you may or may not know, last week was the change of command for me. So this is actually my first graduation ceremony since sitting in your seat 20 years ago. I was in class 0504, January 05. So this is kind of cool, sitting on this side of the podium and looking out this direction and not looking the other way. But super proud of you guys. And I just have a couple thoughts, additional thoughts, before we pin those wings on your chest. First, we expect you to be competent, credible combat aviators, while also never forgetting the expectation to be competent, credible combat officers. You've learned a skill set which you're going to continue to refine for every flight. For some of you, that's going to be walking across the hallway to T-38s. Some of you, that's going to be an FTU. That unfortunately might be like 6 months from now. But you're going to continue to refine that. Don't ever lose that love for aviation along the way, whether that's a year from now, 20 years from now. But the charge ahead of you is to be officers and aviators that our nation needs. During the journey, the Air Force will change. The aircraft you're going to fly will change. The aircraft that you physically fly might change. But the one thing that never will change is leading people. Taking care of your Air Force family, that will never change. Today we are celebrating the folks in these first front 3 rows. But it takes a total team effort to get our students to this day. And I'm very proud of the collective effort that contributed to Class 2513's graduation. We pour a ton of resources into these men and women. That accounts to just over about $1 million each one of them, to turn them into the Air Force's next generation of pilots and leaders. However, money alone will not get them to this point. It really does take a joint effort, and that's a team of over 2,600 airmen here at Vance Air Force Base, including our IPs, government civilians, contract partners, and everybody else that makes up Team Vance. Whether supporting, generating, or executing the flying mission, everybody played a vital role in this graduating class. Among that team are 3 groups I'd like to single out for recognition. Now, if you look around, this group's going to be pretty small. They're really the least represented in the audience, and that first group is our instructor pilots. These men and women have molded our graduates into professional aviators, and they really do deserve a special thanks. As mentioned, you're going to notice very few IPs in the audience because there's no break for them. In fact, the IPs right now are already beginning to fly sorties, I think as of yesterday. So the folks that are coming in and backfilling this class 2513, their dollar ride started yesterday, from what I understand. So there's no break for our IPs. They're working tirelessly to produce our world-class aviators here at Vance Air Force Base. If we could give them a round of applause, I'd appreciate it. The second team I'd like to call out is our team of professionals who maintain the aircraft. Let's face it, we're pretty good at breaking airplanes as pilots, but this team does an amazing job keeping our fleet back up in the air. We've got an incredible team of government civilians, contractors, who are critical to the mission, and we certainly couldn't do it without them. Thank you to the MAQ team and Amentum teams for ensuring our fleet of 200 aircraft are ready to go every single day. Let's give them a round of applause, please, too. All right, finally is the amazing men and women that make up the support and medical groups. Defenders, services, finance, MPF, dental, flight medicine, that list really does go on. And they've touched these aviators from day one up until graduation day. The wings you're about to receive would not be possible without the support and dedication to the mission. I know they are proud of you just as I am proud of you guys. Let's give them a round of applause too, please. All right, so on behalf of all of Team Vance, I want to say congratulations and welcome to the family of military aviators. Super proud of you. It's now my privilege to introduce our guest speaker for today's graduation, Colonel Douglas Pruitt. He's a graduate of the University of Oregon and commissioned in 2003. He has a long and distinguished career that started as a C-130 navigator and then earning his pilot wings here at Vance in 2010. He was a member of Class 1004. He's a command pilot with more than 3,400 hours in the NATO RQ-4, the RQ-4B, C-17, C-130, T-1, T-6, and the T-43. Colonel Pruitt has held a wide variety of staff and leadership roles spanning the spectrum of reconnaissance and mobility operations that many of you will quickly serve in. His portfolio includes working in the Air Force Sensitive Activities Office, commanding and serving as the U.S. Senior National Representative as the NATO Alliance Ground Surveillance Force in Sigonella, Italy, hardship tour, right? And currently serving as the Division Chief of Reconnaissance Operations at Headquarters Air Force, where his team is responsible for planning, programming, policy oversight, force development, and guidance for Air Force's ISR enterprise to ensure the United States is postured for success as we move forward into great power competition. And he might also be a little bit excited to break away from the building and be here in Enid, Oklahoma, as someone who's served a couple tours there. But I am beyond excited, and beyond excited to hear the insights and the advice that Colonel Pruitt's going to provide Class 2513 here today, and how his work or how his team will shape the careers in the not-so-distant future. I would ask all of you, please join me in welcoming Colonel Pruitt to the stage.
Right, good morning. All right, I'm just happy to see the sky. I live in the basement and I don't get to see anything every day. So just being outside is a change, and it's not 100% humidity. All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this remarkable day in the lives of these young Air Force officers as they join the lineage of pilots in the world's greatest Air Force. It is an honor for me to be your speaker for Class 2513 here at Vance Air Force Base. First, I'd like to do as those before me have done and recognize some of our distinguished guests today. Chaplain Gilmore, thank you for the invocation and the opportunity for reflection. Colonel Lundeby, Chief McReynolds, thank you for inviting me. It's a great opportunity and a great privilege for me to be here. To my fellow colonels, chiefs, senior enlisted leaders, thank you for being here and for your leadership and support of this critical Air Force mission. Brigadier General Fessler, Colonel Mackey, Colonel and Mrs. Dibble, Colonel Seitz, thank you for being here today as family and friends of Class 2513. Colonel Mackey, I bet this place looks almost exactly the same as it was when you were here, with the exception of you can hear stuff because there's not tweets drowning out the sound of everything. Good morning, Class 2513, and congratulations on your graduation. A moment I'm sure has seemed very far away for the last year and maybe even longer. Probably even seems farther away now that I'm up here talking. This could be 5 minutes or 25. Depends on how many binders I pull out of here. But to that end, I know that in the end, you probably won't remember me. I don't remember my graduation speaker. I don't know if Colonel Lundeby remembers his. But I would say that you're not going to remember me, but that is unless I'm going to be your boss. If I'm your boss, I expect you to remember me and tell me how inspirational you think this speech was. So to that end, I'll try to keep this brief and get to what you really want to hear, and that's your name called and the wings presented to you. So let me start by saying how proud I am to serve with you. I don't know any of you personally before this, but you've all volunteered to put your life on the line and in one of the hardest paths to get there in the United States Air Force, and you've just succeeded in that. You'll be tried time and again in and out of the cockpit, but it will be your responsibility to lead from your position. You'll be uncomfortable a lot, but always remember your training here is it will be the bedrock of your flying career. Moving through your careers, I do want you to keep a couple things in mind, and that's thankfulness for the opportunity that you have and humility in your conduct. Most of you are about to realize a childhood dream that I would say almost all of us in our profession have had since we were kids. A dream that is unattainable by most people in the world. Few careers will grant you the privilege that you're about to exercise over the course of your career. You'll become experts in a career field that is associated with precision skills and decision-making attributes, and you get to do it wearing pajamas to work. I mean, how cool is that? But I don't want you to lose sight of the opportunity that you have been given and be thankful for it. Having overcome the immense pressure of pilot training, some of you sitting there today will be faced with new and unexpected challenges. I'm going to share a few from my career in hopes that maybe you'll learn something from my experiences. As Colonel Lundaby mentioned, I started off as a navigator and would have done anything to become a pilot, a dream I'd had since my entire life. Nav was not my first choice. We can discuss how that happened outside of this later. I eventually did get to UPT, though, through hard work and dedication in that position as a navigator, and I'm thankful that I was at least flying and not sitting behind a desk. By putting in the work and the right attitude, I was presented with some pretty cool opportunities I never thought I would have. I was able to help develop some of the first GPS-guided airdrop equipment. I was in charge of all the airdrop missions in Afghanistan for a time, and I was even in the Air and Space Museum in the Smithsonian. Never saw that one coming. It's all to say that the right attitude will get you where you need to be. But all of that helped me get to UPT, and looking back on it, I'm thankful to be in that position even though it wasn't the first one I wanted beforehand. Being an expert in your aircraft, and those opportunities will arise that you will be thankful for. PCS and out of the C-17, the Air Force was very short on RPA pilots, and several assignment cycles in a row had large numbers of bodies going to those assignments. I was sent to the RQ-4, again, not something that I was expecting. But trying to look on the bright side and be thankful, I put everything I had into being the best pilot and the best leader I could be. Instead of looking in a negative light and getting down, I took the opportunity to grow my breadth of knowledge and excel in something new. This course correction eventually resulted in me being offered a job as a DO and commander in Italy for 4 years, which was awesome. I highly recommend it, if you can. This included command of a NATO unit, leading troops from 25 different nations, something that, when I was sitting in your seats, I didn't even know was a type of a possibility. I was the NATO lead for the Afghan evacuation in Sigonella, where we received 4,900 refugees out of Afghanistan over 2 weeks, and that operation lasted about a month and a half. I used my mobility experience to help the Navy and our Italian hosts there get the job done. My guys were the first people were on station when Russia crossed the border in Ukraine, and we were the first people to report that up the chain. So both of these things were something I never imagined sitting in these seats that I thought would happen. But I'm very thankful that they did, and they proved to be stepping stones that got me to where I am today. If you embrace these vectors in life and be thankful for what you can influence, your path, totally messed up. What you can influence, your path and that of the nation rests directly in your hands. Be thankful for your loved ones and your support structure. Your spouses, significant others, parents, family, and members of your unit are really who are going to get you through the burdens that you're going to shoulder. The family sitting out there today is responsible for molding and building you into what you are. Be sure to show them your thanks. I went through pilot training as a captain, and so my wife basically became a de facto mother to 20 or so kids that were in my class. Just cooking for everyone, making sure all of our get-togethers and study sessions were functioning at the correct level, and that all those kids had a local family at the base during UPT. This continues to this day in every unit we've been a part of, and she's not the only one. The support structures that you're going to encounter are well established in your squadrons. But now instead of training support, it's going to be for deployments, TDYs, and shift work. You'll need to lean on people to get through the adventure you're about to embark on. And for the guys, it's all of you except for one, call your mother. It may seem that they're worrying a little bit too much, but a call for you can go a long ways to calming their nerves. And let them take as many pictures as they want today. This only happens once. Being thankful will get you through everything, though. Humility with respect to your flying and your leadership will also lead you down the path of excellence. Technical skills alone can carry you through the long nights, the deployments, or the split-second decisions that will leave a lasting impact. Always pair your skills with humility. Listen, learn, acknowledge the wingmen that cover your six. True excellence is forged in teamwork and selflessness. Admit your mistakes quickly and learn from them. Self-assessment is a test that should continually be happening outside of your annual check ride. Admitting faults and learning from them is what will keep you alive in this business and those around you. Don't be afraid to ask why, what if this or what if that in your future roles. We all have to learn new stuff continually in the Air Force. Be humble and approachable to your enlisted force. For those of you going to crewed aircraft, learn from your enlisted members. They are smarter than we ever will be on the aircraft. I was always in the back, loading and unloading cargo in the C-17 and C-130, throwing chains. This type of activity came about initially from curiosity and wanting to do my part, but it builds a stronger team when all your troops know that they can rely on you. It will also increase your knowledge of the airframe in areas that you wouldn't otherwise look in your normal frames of study. Learn from your maintainers. Don't ask to do the work, that would be a catastrophe. Learning and appreciating the work and the people that keep you airborne and safe brings an entirely different perspective to your leadership inside and outside the jet. All of this doesn't just apply to flying ops, but on the work that you will do outside the aircraft. Knowing what your people are toiling away on will improve your knowledge, and sharing the burden with them in a humble manner will allow you to mentor the next generation of airmen, enlisted and officer. All of this assessment and learning will lend itself to trust from your peers, and they are the ones that will really support you in the field. Seek feedback continually. The best pilots treat every critique as a building block to get better. Nothing is greater than time on the road when a crew clicks and you have complete confidence in one another. You even get to the point where you can read what they're thinking just by their tone, and they will put full trust in you to keep them safe and alive. And I know most of you are thinking something like this probably won't happen to you that I've described about myself, but I put money in that you're probably wrong. I never in my wildest dreams thought the roller coaster I've been on is where I'd travel. 22 years ago, starting as a nav, I never guessed I'd be a pilot, a maintenance officer, qualifying 4 different aircraft, deployments, command overseas, leading 25 other nations' airmen, and that's just the surface. Your future is unknown, and remember to be thankful for every opportunity that comes your way, no matter what it looks like. Your legacy will be measured in how willingly you share what you know, and how swiftly you learn from what you don't. To the families in the audience, this goes for you too. Yes, I have the ability to task you even though you're not in the military, but I'm not sure how legally binding it is. Make sure that this class knows how proud you are of them and that you will be there for them. You will never see the full burden that they carry, and they probably won't express it or show it to you, maybe ever. But your support will bolster their resilience and their courage as they go forward in their mission. I'll close by saying, welcome to the club. Today you join an elite fraternity, which I'm proud to call you all brothers and sisters. I urge you to wake each morning grateful for the trust your instructors, commanders, and the Air Force have placed in you, and to lead with humility throughout your career. Remember, you will always be part of the family of Vance Air Force Base and this incredible Enid community. Thank you for allowing me to be part of this momentous day. Thank you again to the families and loved ones for joining us. We're grateful for you and proud of these new pilots. May God continue to bless you all in the United States of America. Thank you.
We will now recognize individuals who excelled in one or more phases of training. The new pilots competed for academic, leadership, and flying training awards, as well as the top wingman, distinguished graduate, and the coveted AETC Commander's Trophy. Each phase of training was carefully weighed, and only a slight margin separated the top performers. Families and friends, please come down and take photos as your graduate receives their awards. Please be mindful of the public affairs photographer, Sarah, that will be taking official photos during this time. The Academic Excellence Award. Colonel DeLumba will present the Academic Excellence Award to the pilot who overall academic test averages exceeded those of their peers. The recipient of the academic award is Second Lieutenant Gretchen Knox.
Congratulations. Colonel Jans will present the Leadership Award. The Leadership Award is presented to the officer who demonstrated outstanding leadership qualities and potential throughout this most rigorous and demanding military training program. Sir. The recipient of the Leadership Award is Captain Jared Nash. Congratulations.
Colonel Bissonette will present the Flying Training Award. The Flying Training Award is presented to the pilot whose daily flying performance and check ride scores exceeded those of their peers. The recipient of the Flying Training Award is Second Lieutenant Gretchen Knox.
Colonel Lenderby will present the Top Wingman Award. Selected by their peers, the Top Wingman Award is presented to the graduate who epitomized their support and teamwork critical to being a great wingman. The recipient of the Top Wingman Award is Major Riley Cannon. Congratulations.
Colonel Lunderby will present the distinguished graduates. To be selected for this honor, a student must maintain an exceptionally high average in all phases of training and finish in the top 10% of the class. The first distinguished graduate is Captain Jared Nash. The second distinguished graduate is Second Lieutenant Gretchen Knox.
Finally, the most prestigious trophy that Air Education and Training Command presents to a pilot training graduate is the AETC Commander's Trophy. These pilots excelled in both flying and academics and demonstrated the initiative and leadership qualities essential to the professional Air Force officer. Additionally, they personified the tenets of the Order of the Dedalians, a group dedicated to military aviation, personal integrity, and patriotism. Colonel Pruitt will present this special award reserved for the officer who attained the highest overall rating throughout their program. The winner of the AETC Commander's Trophy is Second Lieutenant Gretchen Knox. Good job.
At this time, Colonel Lundaby would like to recognize the instructor pilots from the 8th Flying Training Squadron selected by Class 2513, who most embodied the Air Force core values during T6 training and provided exceptional mentorship and instruction. Colonel Lundaby will present the recipients with a plaque in recognition of their hard work. Receiving the award from E-Flight, First Lieutenant Caleb Runyon.
Congrats.
Receiving the award from F-Flight, First Lieutenant Jonathan Groes. This concludes the awards portion of the ceremony, and now the time that we have all been waiting for. Colonel Lundaby will formally present the diplomas and pilot wings to our graduates. As they exit the stage, they will receive a commemorative coin with their unique graduation number from the 71st Student Squadron, First Sergeant, Master Sergeant Christina Annabelle. The new pilots' families and friends are invited to pin on the Air Force wings for the graduation ceremony.
Having completed the required course of training, the following officers from Class 2513 are awarded the aeronautical rating of Air Force Pilot. Major Riley S. Cannon. Congratulations.
Captain Stephen T. McInnes.
Captain Jared D. Nash.
First Lieutenant Kyle C. Drewsbick.
Second Lieutenant Kurt C. Christner. Congratulations.
Second Lieutenant William J. Conrad.
Congratulations. Second Lieutenant Justin T. Ellis.
Second Lieutenant Garrett C. Fields.
Second Lieutenant Conrad L. Glenn.
Second Lieutenant Johnny S. Hedrick.
Congratulations. Second Lieutenant Kurt E. Herbert. Congratulations.
Second Lieutenant Michael M. Hoffnagels.
Congratulations. Second Lieutenant Gretchen L. Knox. Congratulations.
Second Lieutenant Luke D. Landcomer.
Second Lieutenant Jacob I. Leibovich. Congratulations.
Second Lieutenant Nils P. Young.
Congratulations. Second Lieutenant Addison M. Lutz. Congratulations.
Second Lieutenant Philip S. Mayra.
Congratulations. Second Lieutenant Reagan M. Rouse. Congrats.
Second Lieutenant Robert Salinas.
Congratulations. Second Lieutenant Nathaniel L. C. Congratulations.
Second Lieutenant Kevin S. Soka.
Congratulations. Second Lieutenant Logan A. Thornton. Congratulations.
To complete today's ceremony, Colonel Lundaby will present Class 2513.
Class 2513, Tej Hut, about pace. Ladies and gentlemen, I present the Air Force's newest aviators.